A few weeks ago, I was asked to do a presentation at TESOL Arabia, which I put a lot of time and effort into preparing, but for a variety of reasons I didn't get to do. So I want to share that presentation with you now through a recording, and hopefully you'll get some benefit from it. My name is Dr. Dean Sheets. I am faculty in General Studies at HET Dubai Women's College, and my presentation is on innovation. When I first started research for this presentation, I searched innovation on Google and got 412 million hits for my search. This is almost twice as many hits as I got for the related word creativity and for the mundane but ubiquitous cow. Why this abundance? Innovation is a business buzzword almost unrivaled in its current popularity. According to Wikipedia, it means a new idea, device, or process which can be viewed as the application of better solutions that meet new requirements, inarticulated needs, or existing marketing needs. It's easy to understand why businesses are captivated by the concept of innovation. If you are innovative, it follows naturally that you are a leader. To be a market leader means to make the most profit. To have something new and unique means to have no competitors. However, it is also easy to understand how the term has become abused and its meaning stretched out of shape. True innovation is not possible on a mass scale. Truly new things appear very rarely. Thus, we have created a dissonance between the frequency of new things and the market's demand for us to create new things. Thus, most of what is created is designated new, but is, sad to say, old. Adding to this dissonance is the current business practice of holding Silicon Valley up as the paragon of business virtue. Much like Silicon Valley entrepreneurship has become the de facto model for entrepreneurship, Silicon Valley innovation has come to define business innovation. The main problem with this being that innovation in Silicon Valley is defined in terms of patents. The patent process has become so complex that holding a patent seems now to hold little connection to having a new concept. Apple's slide to unlock feature is a case in point, which is a digital implementation of a concept so old it probably predates fire as a technology. When we want to do something better, it is natural to think we need something new, but keep in mind the experience embodied in the phrase, "there's nothing new under the sun." I don't think this is really true, but I do think we need to keep the idea close at hand when talking about innovation. There's a great series of videos by Kirby Ferguson called Everything's a Remix. In those short movies, he uses music, film, and a variety of other fields to demonstrate how the creative process is one of constant mixing and repurposing things which are already familiar, what is most commonly referred to in education as a mashup. And in education, we are intimately familiar with the concept of the more that things change, the more they stay the same. My own experience with education at a system level seems not only to embody the idea of ineffectual change, but to enshrine it. How many teachers are there in the world? In 2007, there were almost 28 million. That number is beyond my imagination. Likewise, the idea of innovation occurring in every teacher's classroom is daunting. It's easy to tout innovation, but it is difficult to really know what that means at such a scale. I also found some statistics implying there are over 120 million students in the world. This I believe to be a conservative estimate and certainly doesn't account for the idea of lifelong learning, where the number of learners equals the entire population of the world. What does innovation mean at that scale? As teachers and administrators, I think if we're going to talk about innovation in education, we need to speak in terms of localized innovation, doing things fresh and different on a local level as opposed to creating something new and transformative on a global scale. I recently watched an interesting TED Talk by Carol Dweck where she talks about a school where they have foregone a traditional grading scale for a not yet system. In this system, they don't fail students. They tell them they are not yet ready to go to the next level. Nothing new, but innovative in terms of bureaucratic buy-in at a large scale. Where I teach, they have something similar for English language, but the problem we run into is that the system doesn't really accept not yet. It only accepts a locally comparative grading scheme, and the measure of success, not success, for moving on is a completely separate, absolute measure. This just highlights a common problem. While we may want innovation, our systems inherently resist innovation. The mass-productive need for one-size-fits-all sameness doesn't allow it. It's as if we are telling innovation that it is welcome to visit, but when it shows up at the door, we tell it to come back later. In fact, many of our systems allow localized innovation, but not innovation on a greater scale. It's as if there is a line in the sand and a guard standing there saying, "Thus far and no further." Making innovation part of the system is counterintuitive to the fundamental principles of bureaucracy. This viewpoint sounds a bit dismal, but we work within complex systems, and we must acknowledge that at some level others will always have a say in what we do. Therefore, it behooves us to constantly ask ourselves one question: to what end? What is the intended result of our innovations? Presumably, we don't change for change's sake. There should be a different outcome after an innovation compared to before an innovation. So what do we innovate? One way to effect a change is by innovation in the means, by changing the way we do things. Or we can innovate by changing the ends. Innovation in the sense that we redefine outcomes to be more relevant to our educational goals. A grading scale of not yet is an example of this. So what do you want to do differently? How will you make that match the requirements and expectations of others? How will you define different? What will your innovation be? Thank you very much for watching. I hope this added something to the way you're thinking about innovation. Goodbye.